Hey traders, happy Thursday. This is Ron Hayden at Market Tamer. Hope you're doing great. As always, nothing in this presentation shall constitute a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Trading stocks and options involves risk, and specific financial issues should always be addressed by your financial advisor. Kick off here with the spiders up $1.19 today. No real change. It's essentially 4 days of going nowhere fast. We'll see what Friday brings. Right now, again, upside targets would be the new all-time highs, and keep an eye on the 50-day moving average in orange, which is an institutional moving average. We want to stay above there just for the bulls to have more confidence. Looking at the diamonds, the DIA up $1.11. Again, nowhere fast over the past 4 days. There have been intraday wiggles, but no real end of day change. The Qs up $1. Still flirting with that 50-day SMA in orange, that institutional moving average. Just can't close above it. Maybe tomorrow will finally be the day. And looking at the mid caps, MDY, they were up over $2, 0.64%. But they can't get above the orange line either. Just having some trouble there. When they do, or if they do, target previous all-time highs up towards 360. One stock I was looking at was Eli Lilly. This shows the breakdown. If I zoom, let's zoom in from here. You can see all this volume. I don't know if that was just distribution up there after a really long run. You know, if I go back 2 years, you can see the rally in early 18. Stock went up really high, but then the volume starts coming in. This is what I'm saying. Maybe it was just distribution. Then we started breaking down below the 50-day. We crawl along the 200-day. Well, now look what's happening. Now we've spent 3 or 4 days below, and the selling volume is starting to pick up here. That would be the indication for me, the last line in the sand for this is a trend change, or at the very least, the top is in for now because we lost the 50-day. That's institutional. Now we're losing the 200-day too. The support level's down around 105, maybe 6% lower. You can see we spend almost 2 months sideways, then another month here of a double retest, and then another double retest here in December. So that'll be the downside target right now. Looking at some of the FANG stocks, if you will, let's go back and look at a 1-year view. You don't need 2 years. Here's Amazon. Here's the most recent high. Here's the most recent low, which just looks like a big old trading range is coming in. It's staying above the 50-day right now. 200 days here, we closed below it, then we reversed. So until it gets above 1950, that would really re-energize the bullish trend, but then you have a double top up here. So what really needs to happen, take out this high and take out the all-time highs. Otherwise, it's just sort of cautiously bullish. Before this would look like a breakdown, you'd have to break below the previous lows. I mean, let's face it, if we get below the 50-day in orange and the purple, which is the 200-day, those are big, markers, big achievements. But because the swing low is here, and then you have this shelf support here at 1600, it really needs to drop 270 points or more before the charts look, from a reward to risk perspective, good bearish. Otherwise, it's just a lot of chop. There's a lot of points in here that could stop it. So Amazon's just really murky or messy. Netflix, this one's pretty easy. Looks like we got resistance up there around 385 and we got support almost right where it is right now, around that 340 area. If we break below the 200-day, which was pretty much where today's intraday low was, the target, December lows. And I don't bring these stocks in very often if there's not a whole lot to talk about. Here's NVDA. I can see where I had my little circle drawn in before when we broke the 50-day. It was a straight B line down. We're bouncing, can barely stay above the red line, which is a 20-day EMA. What does that mean? That's a weak bounce. It's rolling over. This thing is still bearish. Looking at Google, since the earnings drop, we've dropped even lower. We're trying to rally. We've essentially filled the gap, but we're still at the 20-day. The bears are still firmly in control of the chart. Yes, there's a bounce, but if we can't even get above the red line, it just shows how weak the trend is. If we get above the red, we go to the purple. Above the purple, we go to the orange. So 20-day, 200-day, 50-day. And then if we get into the gap, then the gap fill becomes the target. But right now, lower highs, lower lows. Definition of a downtrend. Faceplant was up $2 today. It did close barely above the 20-day EMA, but here too, high, 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 low, low, still in a downtrend. If it gets above the 50-day, that's what starts to turn the charts more bullish. The semiconductor ETF, the 50-day here is the marker. It was up a little bit today, but it needs to get above the 50-day. If that happens, then we go back to the previous highs. Otherwise, you want to watch the lows. So there's support here, it's below 97.50 or above 110. And then RRGB, one of my favorite places to eat. This stock was up 31% today. So that's a pretty big move, right? Big volume. This is sort of like a island reversal type of situation where it gaps down and then it gaps back up, almost like hot potato, pun intended, because they do have the best French fries. If you get above 35 bucks, and this is what makes it interesting, the ledge support around 37.50, then up to 42.50, then up to 45. So I'll be curious to see if there's going to be follow through here with that kind of mega volume. Now it's only 5.2 million shares, right? Not a ton in the grand scheme of things, but for this stock, that's an awful lot. What I would consider using as a trailing stop right now would be the 20-day EMA. It's, $4 away, which is a big distance, but it'll soon quickly start catching up unless the stock just keeps going bonkers to the upside. But if I was short RRGB, I'd be really concerned after seeing that kind of volume. And we get above 35, now we're putting in higher highs, and that's what starts the beginning of the technical uptrend. So that's it. Nice short video. I'll be back with you on Sunday. Have a wonderful rest of the day and a fantastic Friday.